wasn't the prettiest, but Miami escapes with the win. Give me one takeaway from this game that you're going to go with, your biggest takeaway from Miami's victory over Virginia Tech.
Well, I think honestly it was, we've been looking for guys to step up in big spots, and I think that we really finally had some opportunities for the defensive line to step up. Not having Harrison Hunt was tough, but and so the D-tackle rotation was a little bit shortened up, but Phillips had a great game. I think Nesta had a great game. Guys really kind of moved into that role of leadership, which we've been hoping for all year. So, if that D-line starts getting going and can dominate games, I think the back seven, which has kind of been much maligned throughout the season, can definitely take some steps forward.
So my biggest takeaway is watching this game. I mean, we're 8 games in now. We've had a bye week. So this team, this is who we are. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We are who we are. My biggest takeaway was similar to what you said, and let me know if I'm wrong, but if we don't get pressure from our front four, then things go bad from us on the back end. Meaning that, if it's not Jalen Phillips or Nesta, or Ford or any of those guys creating havoc, and then the quarterback gets to throw the ball, I feel like most of the time they're going to catch it. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the thing. We have, a defensive group that had some struggles, and we run so much generic stuff in the back end because we expect our defensive line to get pressure. And, that was always a hallmark of the Manny Diaz defense, getting the front four pressure, whether it was with McIntosh and Norton years ago, or with Joe Willis, or with getting that pressure in the face of the quarterback is vital because he doesn't do much with the back seven. He kind of lets them just go out there and ball. So I think what we did today, kind of showed what it could be if we have it. And then really once you get pressure early, in the downs, and you could force a team like VTech in the throwing situation, it makes things a little bit more easy on your guys because, they can kind of tee off and then really get after the passer. Or as we saw a lot today, you rush to Corey Couch or something off the edge, come from that spot, which he seems so comfortable doing. So, there's some opportunities there, but if you don't get pressure, nothing's going to happen.
Jalen Phillips, 9 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. Kind of talk to us about what he means to this defense, because it honestly, I think, and maybe I'm not going to say I'm being a homer on this. I feel like he gets the opposing teams. He probably causes 3 or 4 holds a game that just doesn't get called. Kind of talk about the impact of Jalen Phillips.
Oh, he's great. Early in the season, I kind of had some high praise of him, which I know you remember because you brought it up last week too.
Yeah,
but I think he's a great player. He's the kind of guy that gets the job done with being the other end, being the left end, doing the nitty gritty stuff and holding the edge, and getting tackles for loss, getting held, all that kind of stuff. That's really who he is. But he also has this freaky ability. So if they said to him, look, this game, for example, they twisted him inside so much to mess with the read option. That's why he had 2.5 sacks and tackles for loss and everything, because they let him go back inside and really be a pass rusher as opposed to being the steady presence that he was being. So once they turn him loose, this kid can do whatever he wants. He's just playing that other spot because Roche is pretty much a pass rusher, right? So you give this kid free reign to go. I don't know how many defensive ends in the country are better than he is. Maybe you have equal skill. I'm not saying he's the best, but I don't know how many guys are a notch above him in terms of his physical ability.
I just think it's really freaky that this kid came from not playing football a couple years to being the best defensive end in the ACC. I think there's an argument to be made there at least. It's really crazy when you think about him retiring, him giving up football for health reasons, and him able to get to Miami, David Feely getting into that program, and then now coming in and right off the bat, he's been doing it all year. So we'll see if he can keep this up, but 8 games in, it seems like he's definitely made an impact in pretty much every piece of the game. Another player But before we talk about an individual player, let me ask this, okay? Shout out to my boy Adrian. He says, keep up the content. I love the channel. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Thank you, guys. We got Chris from Kane's Legacy on the line. Let me ask you this, right?